Hello collective, welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Today is August the 9th, 2025. We're going to tap right in and see what storyline Spirit Divine would like to share with you. Let's see. Holy Spirit, Divine Spirit, storyline for the collective, please. Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. Holy Spirit, Divine Spirit, storyline for the collective, please. We got somebody in a tower because the star is getting the Ten of Pentacles inheritance. In the central energy, well, these cards just fell right out, so I'm going to go ahead and take them. We've got Death to the Magician. It could be the end of people using magic on humanity. These gifts, this stolen intellectual property, which had been twisted and mutated, I believe, is being purged from their toolbox. So their effectiveness is essentially decreasing, or perhaps backfiring with intensity. There could be death to the magician who's been spilling this energy. Take it as it resonates. In the challenge position, we have the Four of Pentacles. They were trying to control the foundation. They could be having scarcity in the subconscious. Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups, Divine Feminine. In her passion energy, she wants to live her life, and she wants to live her life in love. She's tired of being jacked around by these magicians. In the recent past, King of Wands, overcoming some kind of challenge, intention and expectation. Six of Swords, transitioning out of here. I woke up this morning and the curator and friends were saying she keeps coming back. So it's like Divine Feminine is in the spiritual realms while she sleeps. There's a lot of changes happening and occurring in that space that you may or may not be aware of. And when you rise in the morning, when you wake, these antagonistic man boys who are so vicious are surprised. She keeps coming back. So they feel as though they have another opportunity to try again. In the near future, Knight of Wands. Yeah, so you've got lover boy wanting to come in for a connection. You got to be really careful with that. They really genuinely love the idea of being with you. They're intrigued. They really like what they see. But their man guides, their church leader, or whoever it is that's been driving them into their belief system, have them convinced that the God that walks with you is a demon. Their church leaders have been threatening, saying, you have no idea the forces that walk with this church. And I'm like, well, you mean you don't walk with God? The one who is love? Because they want to vilify, punish, they want to purge, they want to do that exorcism, they want to do all this stuff. It's nasty, the way they want to crush this power in the Divine Feminine. And these guys, even though they really like what you got going on, they believe these men. And rather than walk with you and he who walks with you, they will try to crush you. They're convincing them. This is why there's all these sacrifices, these contracts made in a church. And then there's the sacrifice because they believe that there's some power in you that must be purged because these men of this church, they need the command, they need the demand, they need to dominate these ones and what they bring to the table. They can't have them building with these queens who walk with God. They can't have them rising in their own authority, their own song, connected divinely. They must do as told by these men of authority. Page of Swords. Page of Swords. So you got a Page of Swords looking for a new contract. They could be spying. I heard these negative Nellies telling a younger the other day, they won't see you. So they're cloaked and they're spying. Gathering information in the environment. And the sickening thing is that they're coming up real sweet, genuinely desiring to know. But whatever information you give them will be given to those men in this church so that they can work with that and then try to manipulate you. They're not loyal to the feminine. They're not loyal to the mother. We've got Chariot here. You're leaving. So there's a page here, spying, trying to find out what's going on with your Chariot. Divine Feminine. They want to get on your Chariot. They want to claim it and keep it. They're in regret. They're in sorrow because you're walking away. They're like, she keeps coming back. You keep waking up in this space. And they're like, ooh, another chance. Two of Swords. And Two of Pentacles. So somebody's got some difficult decisions to make. They've got a lot of things going on. They need to bring balance to. They are loyal to a black hole soul. They are loyal to forces that are lower vibrational. They're not part of this high vibrational, loving God, Goddess, Mother, Father that walks with the Divine Feminine. They're not part of that. Queen of Swords knows the truth. Coming into a Nine of Pentacles here, the fruits of her labor. She's got clear boundaries here. And it could be that she's offering some clear boundaries. She's got it set up. The truth is out here regarding the Nine of Pentacles, regarding the fruits of the labor of the Divine Mother, the Empress. She has earned a magnificent life. She has earned the opportunity to walk with the Most High Divine. She has been given gifts and powers that these men of this church despise. She's got a Nine of Cups, wish come true, and these others want to commit fraud. They're moving forward with fraud, trying to connect to you. They know the intentions of their master, of the church, and yet still they're coming forward to connect with you because you are free, and they want to be part of your charity. They want to receive your charity. But not only do they want to receive it, they want to take it from you, swearing that the source of it is a demon. You know the truth of this? You could be announcing it. You've got mental clarity. You could be cutting out the chaff from your life. And there's a celebration here because they're getting disconnected from you. Why? Because you're here in a spiritual bond or some other kind of bond, and you're very persistent. Your boundaries are up. It could be that God is not letting them beyond the gate. It's like, you shall not interfere with this. You knights, you pages coming in, loyal to your low vibrational, flamboyant man, leader, whatever, with your trickery, using proposals to trick divine feminine. Your power has them in a 5 of Pentacles. Your power has them in disappointment. You're standing up for yourself, and they are very disappointed about that. They know that you are a temperance angel. You are balance, harmony. You are the light and the gifts. And these men who walk around with this religious hypocrisy, they don't want you being seen as this. They want to put you in a 10 of Swords energy. And it could be that that's the energy they're in. So they wish to reconcile with you because they're in a freaking nightmare. They're in a freaking nightmare over your new love, a new love that could perhaps be coming back from the past, a past cycle, a past lifetime. And they are delivering justice. And it looks like there's justice here. You have a protectress. Whoever this love from the past, you've got a family. Like there's a mother figure here, divine mother even. I heard her say once, my babies. She doesn't talk a lot. But what these people, these men who have been leading these knights and pages down a path of incoherent abuse and brutalization of the mothers, she's mad. These people are going to get what they deserve. You can be sure of it. They're going to get a tower. A freaking tower. Because everything belongs to the star, to those who carry this magnificent light in them, those who are connected to Source Divine, higher vibrational, higher dimensional life forms and frequencies. And what you have surpassed here, what you have graduated through, the most difficult, impossible path that these brutalizers have put upon you, has earned you a grand reward. And they want to get you back because you're making plans for the future. You've got public recognition. You're making changes, and they're so mad. They're furious. They insist that the research and the work that you are doing is somehow bad, but that's only because they're being revealed. We've got King of Pentacles and King of Cups, who is calling judgment, perhaps. On the new beginning of this love, King of Swords is here also. They see the truth of it, and they're going to be very much looking at these new unions in this new cycle. So we've got the wheel turns and the world is here. The cycle is closed. It's a completion. However, you're coming into your abundance, but you've got somebody still wanting to come in and cast some kind of an illusion that they want to collaborate with you. And this is where it all started. You started Divine Feminine or somebody. Let these ones in the first place. These ones who are protected by forces that you don't know about. They brag about. They were welcomed in to collaborate, and they wound up stealing the house and turning it into a war zone. They've worked very hard to cast an illusion here. But we do have a 10 of Cups and a 2 of Cups. They've worked very hard to cast an illusion regarding divine marriage and divine union. They've been using mental magic and cyberware and other technologies to drive them apart and to drive them into survival and failure. And look, they've been working real hard for it. But so have you. And you've got a new beginning here because you're very, very strong and you know the damn truth. You're cutting these brutalizers out of your life, and they're frantic. They're sending in the youngers who actually have love for you. But they're a servant to whatever forces are protecting these churchmen. They've got lust boy convinced that their lower vibrational religious practices are where it's at. And that those higher vibrational, love-filled, passionate people who are just out there shining so brightly, they're trying to convince them that, you know, they're demon possessed, which is weird. All you did was level up, man. And these ones are stuck in this low vibrational entrapment to whatever these forces are that are protecting them. They're bound to it. They can't elevate and rise with you. Their only hope is to grab you, lure you in with a genuine passion and love so that they can trap that light, that power source into their lower vibrational commitments with whatever this force is. They can't elevate with you. They've got to drag you back down. And they use sex and this love of this person whose loyalty and commitment they have possession of. There's probably a baptism or some kind of a contract that binds them to this lower vibrational entity. And even though they really like you, they consider you sugar and barf because they are low vibrational and they're attracted to the light like a moth. But they need to strip you of that light so that they can be more comfortable in it while obtaining the gifts. Divine Mother said that these ones will not obtain you. So even if they come forward with these proposals, even if you're interested, I don't think it's going to pan out very well for them, because the Most High God, who these people have been delaying your purpose, which is to elevate, to rise, to turn this place into the second sun. A high vibrational world where low vibrational demoness entities who feed on pain and suffering cannot survive. They're very angry about your rise and about the fact that judgment is here. Judgment is being called on these ones. And the way that they have been commanding the foundation of this Empress who embodies the essence of the sun, the Divine Mother. All of her babies that they utilize in blood rituals on a regular to generate these connections, these powerful connections with these powerful forces. They're her babies, her light-filled, upper dimensional, light-filled, beautiful children that are supposed to be here to raise the frequency of this planet, to bring more love, more light. And they've been doing horrible, heinous things against them. Star. Death to the magician because of the light that's being shined upon them right now. Because of your rejuvenation, your elevation, your reconnection with those upper frequency, upper dimensional beings. God, Goddess, Mother, Father. They're challenged because they're in scarcity. They're in a Four of Pentacles. And this is a completion of a cycle. So they're in scarcity and it's a completion of a cycle. This is over for the magician. You have rejuvenated. Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups. So you've got this masculine here rushing forward, trying to defend their beliefs. They are their beliefs about what? Casting illusions, causing fear for the feminine. Something's happening very swiftly. They truly believed that these men who guided them down a path of incoherence had it right when they said that the mother needed to be punished for carrying this light, this creatress that brings forth life, needing the light in order to do so. These ones have been prostituting the womb energy of the sacred and divine mother. Let's just say they hate their life and they want to relinquish it. Destroy the mother, you destroy yourself. Unless you're born in a bag of stagnant and still water, which I believe many of them are. Running on hardware, cyberware, chips. They gave up their divinity long ago for a show, for pomp and circumstance. So the King of Wands, who's overcoming challenges, he's been working very, very hard, very, very diligently for this abundance. He's very responsible. He's in that Six of Swords energy. Look, and he's not alone in that boat. He's got his divine feminine, and he's moving away with her. Taking her away, leaving that baggage behind. We're going to take our abundance and we're going away. Death to the Magician, because the light has been amplified within the divine feminine, within the mother that brings forth life. Incredibly bright, loving, happy life. She's very determined. Yeah, and it's love. So you're leaving this baggage behind and you're moving into love. But you got Mr. Passion here, who's a puppet or a puppet of these men. And I don't know that they're men. I honestly don't. There's something else moving in them. If they were a clone of something, and whatever spirit that is moving that body is parasitical, it's lower vibrational, and apparently it is bound to forces that are not of the divine, that walks with this feminine. And these knights and these pages are loyal to them. You know, there's a certain status, luxury, when they can trap the divine feminine and all of that light and all of those gifts, then they can claim it as their own and they can flash it. They can do flash and clash is the name of the game. Woo, I am a big boy and I can commit war and atrocity upon anybody I want. Woo! So yeah, King of Pentacles. So you got a King of Pentacles here too. We've got a Knight of Wands who's interested in wealth. They really do like you, but they're bound to this other thing and loyal to it. They cannot think for themselves. They are moved by an external force appearing as a man or as whatever it is that protects them. So there's a Page of Swords here, spying. They have cloaked him. He's in the environment. He has been promised that they won't see him. He's spying on this cycle, on the turn of this wheel, on these new contracts. We've got the Chariot here in the environment. And death. Your victory brings death to this situation. Your victory brings an end to this cycle. And they're in a Five of Cups energy. They're quite upset. Like when you wake up here, they're surprised. Whoa, they keep coming back. And it's like, yeah, because you live in two worlds. Probably more, Divine Feminine. I would not doubt it if God himself has made many of you, one of you for each unlimited universe, so that these ones will never, ever, ever destroy you completely. They can't have access to all of you. You're an unlimited being. There are so many aspects of you. Giants, youth, judgment. So they're upset. They have lost. They're in sorrow. They're under judgment. They need to come in for a love offer, but any love offer you receive at this time is from this conglomerate that is loyal to lower vibrational forces that protect them from the light in you. These lower vibrational forces, or those who are bound to them, really actually feel pain when they are in the light that you carry. It makes them sick. It makes them want to throw up. It actually makes them sick because they're not high vibing. They're not connected to that upper dimensional source. They haven't graduated through the trials and the lessons that would grant them these gifts. And so they see you and they want it. They want to claim it. But they require you to agree to stay here in a lower vibing place with them in exchange for a shuang and a life of suffering while they attempt to purge this demon out of you. So they shut you down in every way that they can to keep you from expanding into your light, into your God-given status as a soprano, as a light-bearing being, as a high-dimensional life bringer, rejuvenator, a healer. They called you what do they call you? A supercharger. You supercharge life in everything. And these ones aren't connected to that. They're connected to a lower vibrational force that loves pain and suffering energy. So yeah, they got difficult decisions to make with this Two of Swords energy. They're stagnating. They don't know what to do. They got lots of stuff going on, multiple priorities they got to bring balance to, and they've lost you. Eight of Cups. You're walking away. You're leaving them behind. They're sad. They're being abandoned by you. Just as they abandoned you, they trapped Divine Feminine in this lower vibrational state. They punished her for not following their religious rules and regulations. They just punished her because God walks with the mother, the bringer of life. And these ones are destroyers of it. It's so freaking obvious. It's so apparent. And there's an obvious choice. Do you want to be part of that which supercharges life, or do you want to be part of that which destroys it? It's so obvious now. So I really feel that your willpower has overcome this sneakiness. Your willpower and your desire, your passion for life, for your connection to that most high source of life, Mother, Father, Goddess, God, divine, Titans, embodying the essence of the sun, this magnificent light power and vital force. It is in you, Mother, Divine Mother, who walks this realm. So your willpower to remain in that energy, to climb up out of this suffering entrapment of these others who demanded that you serve them with your gifts while suffering. It caused them a defeat. And so now there's a celebration because they're getting divorced out of your heart space, out of your love. Your empathy has turned to apathy for the majority of these ones. At least mine has. And I can't speak for everybody, but if this is your story, it's your story. If it's not, it's not. Don't get mad at the messenger, okay? I'm just telling a story. There's a celebration because these dominators of the light and life path that God has set for you are getting divorced out. God said, this is a heinous crime against humanity. This is a severe betrayal. They were meant to guide families to God, and instead they bound themselves to a lower vibrational force while possessing and harming the daughters of God. The Divine Mother that is so intimately connected with upper dimensional, high ranking light-filled beings. You are here to seed. You were here to plant light and life. And these entities were feeding on it rather than letting it grow. Rather than watering the garden, they were pulling up all the seeds and eating the seeds before they could even flourish into the plant that it was supposed to be. So there's death to the magician. There could be death to the magic that has been placed over the stars. It's an end of a cycle for these magicians, these warlocks, these low vibrational, cruel entities doing magic on the stars. You envelop or you embody a lighter energy, a light-filled light energy. It's happy. These people are happiness haters. They like rigidity. They like everything to be stiff. They like the phallus stiff. They like their rules stiff. They like stiff competition. They like you as a stiff in the morgue. They're fascinated by stiff. I don't know where that came from. That's hilarious. So they're in scarcity now. Frugality, scarcity. They have to live frugally now. They've lost everything. And this is the completion of this cycle. They're so upset. This is the end of them doing magic on the stars. You're successful. You know that there's no greater goal than to love. You know when you are happy, you are on the right path. You know that when you are in this love energy and this happy energy, that your star light is just like, and you're vibing high, happy, woo, 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 everywhere you go. My own mother, who was a big narcissist, I didn't know it until I look back in hindsight. All I knew is that being with her was pain. And at the end of her life, she told me that being around me actually caused her pain. And she felt the need to hurt me because she was hurting in my presence of happiness and loving. I would be so excited to see her that I would just be, wanting to hug and stuff. And she was like, ooh, I mean, literally, she told me it hurt her. And I'm guessing that's why she tried to hurt me so badly. All I wanted to do was love her, man. I was really happy to be in her presence. And she hated it. That's what these people are. So the courage of divine feminine and the love, her ability to remain heart open and loving in the face of all centuries of brutality. They tortured you in so many ways over the centuries to try to crush that light out of you, to try to destroy that connection with the upper dimensional realms that you walk with as a life bringer, as a supercharger of life. They tried to crush it out of you. And God is like, what are you doing, man? So you want to destroy that which is bringing you life? Doubt in the reverse. So somebody's trying to, they're trying to think fast. They're trying to defend their beliefs about casting illusions around divine feminine. They're afraid because very swiftly something is happening and there's no doubt about what's going to happen. They know what's happening. They know what's happening. Even though you may not know fully. The divine always lets you know what you need to know when you need to know it and not before. There's always entities, forces listening. So, you know, whatever this is, like whatever I'm telling you here, I'm permitted to tell you because otherwise it wouldn't present itself as a story. So the King of Wands, divine masculine, he's very passionate. He's working so very hard for this abundance. He's not like these thieves who sit around and suck the life out of the divine feminine and then force her to serve them while layering her in this filth, degrading, defiling her. Gifts of the soul that benefit you and others. This King of Wands he's got it, man. He's been working hard within his own self to create this. So he's got these abundant gifts of the soul that benefit life. He's a beautiful, he could be a beautiful companion, and he is one here. Complete love, leaving this baggage behind. And you can trust it. Both of you are connected to the inner voice that guides you, which is the Most High God and Goddess, Mother, Father. You are both filled with these beautiful gifts. Whatever life path you have suffered over the many centuries, you have graduated. You have finally graduated. You are up and out of the trap, and these ones can't trap you, and they want to trap you. And when you wake up, they're surprised. You keep coming back, but you won't for long. There's changes being made. You're doing work in 2 different realms right now, perhaps more. These ones were portraying themselves as God and as the sons of God, and they were not connected to the light of life that God provides. They were feasting on it. So we've got a Knight of Wands here, unpredictable, Mr. Passion, Mr. Charming, and there is a King of Pentacles also. What's going on with this scenario here, Spirit? Failure. The passion project to gain a King of Pentacles wealth in this particular chapter has failed. There is a page here who they have cloaked and promised that nobody will see them. So they're here spying on contracts, spying on negotiations. The wheel has turned. The contracts of this new cycle. You've got a spy in the midst. He is a page. They don't know what to do. You're in your chariot. You have a victory here, and that is bringing an ending to this cycle. It's over. It's in the environment. They're in grief and they're in regret. God knows that these people who have committed and bound themselves to lower vibrational forces have been not only feasting on the light and the love of the mothers who gave them the privilege of being here in this position, but they were making war with God, calling him a demon, boasting about it with their lifetime stories that they were broadcasting throughout the galaxy on their slave planets or in their little slave dimensions. They're in sorrow. 5 of Cups energy. It's a personal setback. They're under judgment. You have empathy. They're under judgment over what they've been doing to empathic people. The transmitter receivers of the divine. Those microphones, those cameras that have recorded everything. Those that forgave and forgave and forgave and forgave and served and served and served. Remaining faithful to God, praying the pain away, and yet being patient while immersed in it. You recorded everything necessary, irrefutable evidence, connections, whatever these forces are, whoever has been empowering them, the methodology that they've been utilizing, all of this sneaky shadow stuff that they've been doing. It's all been brought to light because you, in your Queen of Wands energy and in your loving energy, this heart space that you refused to shut down, you brought it all forward, and you did so with grace. You did so with love. It's like you are the queen of pain. You ate it all up, and you turned it into this information that was necessary in order to bring an end to it. This was a battle between these people who actually wanted to be bound to a lower vibrational force because they felt that it was more powerful. And they thought that if they combined forces with these lower vibrational, really nasty, mean people or entities or whatever, while trapping the light and the power and the gifts and the minds of these divine feminines, that they would be unbeatable, that God would never be able to overcome them because of these lower frequency forces that they were walking with. But they don't understand that the Most High God walks with a lot scarier entities than they could even fathom. There are unlimited universes out there. Things that these ones cannot fathom that walk with God. Purpose. They've abandoned their purpose. It could be that they had a purpose to guide and lift the children and the families to be with God, but these guys decided to go a different way. What they did was they abandoned their purpose. They didn't want to work that hard. They put all the load on the mothers. And they told the young men all they had to do was go prostitute the energy and harvest it and use it like this, the path of incoherence. They guided them away from love. They guided them away from the Most High Divine. And they're still out there trying to convince them that this beautiful light and this love and this happiness that's running through you is a demon. They abandoned their purpose. They betrayed God. And they did horrible things to the babies of the Divine Mother. Abundant, limitless people who can manifest whatever it is that they want in this world, and they do so with great happiness, joy, high frequency, high vibrational. It's like you're those bees, or the hummingbirds. The energy that's moving through you is so fast and so brilliant. The goodness that pours forth from you is so amazing. And these guys are like snails. Or the turtle. But even though I love turtles and I don't want to use turtle because turtle is sacred and these guys aren't sacred. You're courageous, you're honest, and you're coming into a relationship or relationships that serve the higher good. These prideful people are worried because you persevered, and not only did you persevere, you have a regular list of gratitude. You're thankful for all of the trials, through all of the challenges, because it assisted you in not only expanding into higher frequencies. They forced you. They were draining your life force, putting you on double time, triple time. You had to generate your own energy like triple time because they kept siphoning it out of you. So they turned you into a supercharger, but they kept taking it, so it wasn't recognizable. But as soon as they stopped being able to tap in and drain you of it, it became very obvious that you are a supercharger. They forced you into it. Because in order to maintain your own existence and your own life and your own sense of well-being, you had to become a supercharger in order to have enough for yourself. And then when they got cut off, it's like, woo, all of a sudden it was like, you know how when you're in neutral and you're pressing your foot all the way on the gas and the car doesn't go anywhere? And then all of a sudden you stick it in drive. Boom! That's kind of like what's happening now, I think. You're very, very disciplined. You can accomplish what you set your mind to. And when you're struggling and suffering, you accomplish what you set your mind to. They thought you were on an impossible path. They thought there was no way you could recover and elevate once more into the power of this connection. They truly believed it was impossible. And the envious ones now need to surrender their need to control you, because you are balance and harmony. You do bring a state of perfect harmony into the world. And they're under judgment for what they have done to your health, for casting death magic upon you. Maybe they will receive the death penalty. I do believe they will. Peace is being restored. All that negativity is being purged. They're guilty for blaming you, for covering you in their own low vibrational practices that were bound to these dark forces. They blamed you. They said it was you. And now they want forgiveness for what they've done to the mind of love. They did everything they could to destroy your faith in it. They did everything they could to extract it out of you. They did everything they could to shatter your heart and your dreams. But you've grown in consciousness and awareness. While you were alone, you did it all by yourself. Nobody supported you. The whole world, it felt, was trying to extract your heart, your soul. But you accepted that adversity. You accepted it. You knew you couldn't change it. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do? You've got all this adversity. You've got everybody piling in on you, trying to destroy your sense of self and the connection that you have with the Most High and your services, right? You accepted the adversity and you still remained in service. You served them. They forced you to, but you still did it. You didn't bail. You were patient. You knew that everything happens in divine order according to the Most High, and now you're getting your freedom. You got your freedom while these ones are getting denied. They're getting denied friendship. They're not your friend, and they're not getting their freedom. They're in fear. They could be in fear of your friends, of your higher dimensional beings. I had a vision of a meadow, and in that meadow, there were like 7 to 9 light beings. They were standing, and it's like they had teleported into the meadow, and they were all standing there with their swords raised, as though they were expecting an attack from above. So we've got, and you couldn't see the body. All you could see was this shape. You knew it was a biped in a magnificent light, like white lightning. This is, these jinn, they think they're smokeless fire, right? They're electrical beings and all of that. But these beings in that meadow, I'm sorry, they went up to a whole bunch. A whole freaking bunch. And they're here. I say that because the jinn summoned me to their ship or wherever that is. There were like 5 of them there, and they decided that I should dance for them. And they grabbed my arm and they were twirling me around, like when you do dancing and stuff. And my whole arm went numb. And I kept trying to teleport myself away, and they kept pulling me back. And there was some heavier set gals in the kitchen, and they said, "Ooh, they love you." What they love is the idea of being able to tap that. There's something greater here now. So we got the Jinn and we got the Draco. The Jinn and the Draco. The Jinn like to call themselves the Satan. That's what I believe. And they got forces that these church people and other people that they work with that are lower vibrational and cruel. They really get off on brutality. God may be the most potent light that there is, but I can tell you, I'm pretty sure he's probably the scariest being on the face of the multiverse, since he is the one who created it and life upon it. Created the jinn and every other thing too. All of it. It's like these ones were trying to eliminate their father. They certainly proved it here with all of those blood rituals called war. All those men, the fathers. The blood that they desired to be spilled in the name of freedom. They could not bribe you. They could not tempt you. You didn't want any of their opportunities. You're walking with God. It's like God is giving you everything you need. And you know what that is? That's called life, happiness, love. These ones, I had visions like they were coming forward flashing all this money. I'm like, crap, I'm not a politician, man. What? It's crazy. I'm not a sellout of my own soul and my connection with Source. The only one who walked with me during this whole cruddy scenario. The one who made sure that I did not die in any of these accidents and this other stuff that they had me experiencing with their witchcraft and their death magic. Many of you can relate. So now they're in scarcity, and the world, this is a completion of the cycle. You are successful. You know that there's no greater goal than to love, and that brought you up, lifted you up into a higher frequency, a higher dimensional space, and you are connected with the divine. These ones have been complaining that you ladies are sopranos. It's like you are the highest soprano. It's like, you know, so you're way up there, and your vibrations are like really moving, like the wings of the hummingbird or the wings of the bees. It's like you're just, you're the superchargers of the freaking planet. And you're loving. Everything coming off of you is love and happiness. Collaboration. You're not alone. The word unity is on this card. They have been calling you a unifier. They're very upset about that. They call it a conglomerate. So there are many factions of people coming together. Various tribes, there's several different types of human here. As we can see, the simplest way to see it is through the flesh, but you know, so we all have different star systems and such, and these people are here collaborating together successfully with love in mind. There's a lot of changes that are being discussed and perhaps will be implemented. Queen of Wands, you're very determined to bring forth this passion for life. You're not giving it up. The cruelty that surrounds you does not quench or quell your desire to live it with love. Queen of Cups, you're emotionally stable. You're like, man, bro, that was bad. You know, I mean, I don't know. Knight of Swords, rushing forward to defend their beliefs about causing these illusions. They're in fear because there's swift change here, like lightning speed changes happening here. They have no doubt about it. They are in fright. It's like it's happening, and it's happening now. And they're like, oh crap. And if it hasn't hit them yet, it will. What they have done here with this song, so my protector, actually, I did a video where he spoke, and he's speaking in different languages, and one of the things he said was in English was, you must know, you must know, you must know what you have done here. What you have done is inconceivable or something. They've done the inconceivable or something like that. Started with an I. The video's up down there if you want to listen to it. So they're frightened because their magic is coming back. All that magic that they have placed upon the divine feminine to bind her away, to try to extract that so-called demon out of her, to separate her from God. They did all that magic. There's no doubt about it. It's all seen, and very swiftly, with the Eight of Wands here, it's coming back on them. All of it. They curse themselves by cursing the mother. They felt really powerful when they could crush women and children. They've been doing it for so long. They got a false sense of self and their strength. King of Wands, overcoming challenges. He has been working very, very hard with his abundant gifts, and he worked very, very hard for them, and he's triumphed here. He's got a victory here. He's got a victory. So we've got leaving behind, and it's a total love that you can trust. So this happened in the recent past. You're moving into a different dimensional space. These ones, like when I woke up this morning, I heard she keeps coming back. So that's how they're looking at the divine feminine. It's like you're walking in two worlds right now. So you still experience frustrations for being here, dealing with all this nastiness, but you're still in service, collecting data, information, and all of that, bringing about change, delivering messages such as this, doing stuff to shift. These ones are upset because there was a younger who told, somebody was saying, an older masculine was saying, who told you that? Something about the forbidden fruit. Apparently, the mother was the forbidden fruit. And her fruit, the mother and her fruit that came from her womb, that came from her creation, her intellectual property, that was the forbidden fruit. But boy, did they vilify it. Yeah. So who told you that? And a younger said, I did. So these secret, whoever this is, they knew it. And that's not something that they've been teaching the public at all. Stable and okay. So you're in that Six of Swords boat. It's full of love. Big, 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 big love that you can trust. It's connected to the divine. You're inwardly, telepathically connected to each other and to source. And you are stable and okay. These ones went to apologize. They have lost here. They have failed. Knight of Wands, passion project for pay, for money, for King of Wands. So a knight, all he had to do to become a King of Wands was go gather enough feminines and harvest enough gifts. And then they could be a King of Pentacles. But all they had to do was create with her. They didn't have to be cruel. They didn't have to be a whore and sell her off for trinkets. Betraying love of the mother. So we've got this as cloaked. There's a cloaked page out there spying on the contracts of this new cycle. They don't know what to do about this readiness. There's preparations being made, and they don't know what to do. You've got a victory here. You're in your chariot, and this is bringing a death to the cycle. This is an end of a cycle. These people are in grief and they're in regret because you've reached your goals. You're going to get a business. You're going to get real estate. You're getting land. You got a husband or a wife, a partner that you will build with and create with. Divine love. Divinely connected to source. Both of you. Yeah, they're in grief and regret for cursing people who care about family, for cursing families, for cursing the children of families. I wonder what God thought when that person arrogantly said, "You have no idea the forces that support this church." And I won't even mention what church it is because I'm not going there. This isn't a religious battle for me. I'm not in a religious battle. I am determined to walk with God. I want to forget that these ones exist. I don't want to deal with them. Let God deal with them. So there is a personal setback for these ones. They're under judgment for what they've been doing to empathic people, to the children of the Most High, to those transmitter receivers, the sacred vessel, which houses sacred essence and communicates directly with the heavens in order to bring that here. They're under severe judgment for cursing them, delaying their purpose, for hijacking their intellectual property, for driving them into sin, and then cursing them and convicting them with horrible circumstances because of what they did to them. Memory in the reverse. They wiped your memory. So that you would forget who you are, so that they could indulge on you. They stole your memories. They hijacked your intellectual property. They had a great time using your empathic connections with Source, pretending to be you, vilifying your honor, acting like whores. And they indulged in it. They did it over and over and over again. They did it so successfully, they had the game down. It's over. They were feasting on the life and death cycles of the stars, of the divine feminine. It's over. You know, it's like they bound themselves to these lower vibrational forces while they were feasting on and harvesting the light and the life of the beautiful children divine, cursing them and presenting themselves to God as these holy men, and then casting the illusion that everybody else was failing, even though they tried desperately to guide them. The truth is out. Two of Swords, they're at a crossroads. Two of Pentacles, they got a lot of stuff to do. They're disappointed. They abandoned their purpose. They caused people. They took it. They took the purpose of many people. And they ran it into the ground. They destroyed it and then called them incapable of handling their purpose. They buried them, cursed them, dressed up in the memories of them, ran their purpose into the ground, and then convicted them as incapable of managing this purpose that God sent them here with. For gain. Their profession was to cause illusions, and it still is. They're professional illusionists. It looks like they're going to get abandoned. They're getting rejected. These illusionists are getting rejected. They have to withdraw. They have to withdraw from your sweet dreams, creating conflict, wearing your face. Because you persevered and have risen in this new chapter, they're being stopped. They're overwhelmed. They're overloaded. They're losing their freedom. They're protesting. They're being rejected. It's like, this is horrible. The betrayal that they have committed to marriage, bringing nightmares to marriages. These are the supposed religious people of this particular story. Scarcity, destabilization, gigolos, Jezebel, succubus, incubus, getting into the mental body of the dream state, causing you pleasure and harvesting your womb energy, your sacral energy, using it in black magic or blood rituals or other kind of bad magic, and then laying that energy back on you. They were cursing families, making it seem as though they were incapable of doing their purpose, or that they were not interested. Live and learn. They fell into a trap. And the gift is scheduled to vacate these premises. These ones don't know what to do. They're bound to the commitments, whatever forces they joined with to try to trap the divine feminine and these beautiful gifts of the King of Wands. Yeah. So they're bound to their commitments and they're getting separated from you. This is good news. Your fate will be rest and relaxation. I heard that the other day. Rest and relaxation as compensation. You have been mentally tortured, energetically, emotionally, physically for centuries. So now it's like you're getting rest and relaxation as compensation. I was used to get mad because this curator would be talking about, well, you can compensate. And to them, compensate is money. And it's like, I'm sorry, money, you will never, with that mindset, money will never, ever, ever compensate for the pain and suffering, for the damage that they have done. Ever. You're getting a life of relaxation. Those who are robbing you of your blessings are going blind. They robbed you blind. Now these third wheel enemies are going to be mentally disturbed for what they were doing to eternal love. They were causing mental disturbances and other phobias for those who were destined for this path. And now, all of this is coming back on them and they're frightened. Eternal love is worth saving. Eternal love is what brings forth life. These ones were feasting, 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 and not providing anything but cruelty and betrayal. They cannot support themselves on that. They are bound to whatever low vibrational forces they've contracted with, trying to trap you. Prideful people. Dominating sweethearts. Taking their reward, and now there's a lucky state. Justice is being served. Mercy is being shown on you. You were alone. They sucked the life out of you. You became a supercharger. You had to, in order to maintain your health, because they were trying to drive you into sickness and death. So you had to revitalize. And they're furious because there's evidence of this coach bringing danger, harm to you. So you've got a new family tree here. Your alliances are protecting your vital force. You're a good moral human. You've earned a lot of merit. Apparently you're well known throughout the cosmos. You're stronger than you know. So there's these friends thought it was a great idea, a great strategy to pray for natural disasters. there's a whole group, of a team here who is praying. Their strategy was to pray for natural disaster, for harm against you. Whatever these forces that they are protected by, bring natural disasters to people who love themselves, to make them and their families sick. To bully them, to warp the mental body of others and their environment, to cause them to be bullied. Now they want to compromise and you don't want to hear it. It's like, look, I don't want to hear it. Just go on. Just get away. You're a high value person. You've reached your goals. You're getting your business. Again, you've reached your goals. And these people are stressed out. Their mind is cluttered while your mind is clear. Your body is calm. And you've got your promise. And it could be now that these ones are being promised homelessness for making a vow, for the vow that you have. There's a vow. Most High said they will get what they deserve. And guess what? They don't deserve you. And apparently the Most High cares enough to permit them many cycles to try and turn their life around. But rather than do that, they just kept going darker and darker and darker. I suppose they convinced themselves that that was the way to success. I suppose they convinced themselves that whatever these forces are more powerful than God. Because they were capable of destroying the feminine and the children and convincing the men to go die abroad in some war to protect families. So there's death here for the magician. There's death to them doing magic on the star. They could not bribe her or him. Please do what you need to do with the gender. They could not bribe them. They could not drop them out of their high frequency. They would not commit to an opportunity. They would not sign any contracts. They would not sell their soul. They just sat with the suffering cycle after cycle. And now it's over. And now it's over. Now it's over. We've got death here on either side of this central energy. It's over. This magician casting magic upon the light-bearing people and their happiness is over. They did not accept any bribes. They did not commit to any contracts. They did not commit their loyalty to this lower vibrational death energy that they kept spewing into the world. They did not participate in violence. They did not become full of malice. They stayed heart open and loving, successful. For me, I decided long ago that I preferred the energy of happiness, and so I made an effort not to walk in anger, to let it go. I had to work at it because there's so many people out there who wants to trigger your freaking soul. So now they're in scarcity, and this is a completion of a cycle. You're not alone, you're successful. There could be some kind of a unity going on here, a collaboration, loving thoughts. You could be telepathically connected, successfully working together. Somebody can't get out of their thoughts about it. This magician, it's over. There's death sandwiching this person. They can no longer hex, curse, or cause death or suffering for the light-bearing beings, for the children of the Most High. Queen of Wands is here, very determined to live her life. She's got passion, man, and she wants to create. And we got Queen of Cups here. She's full of love, and she's like, whoa, love energy, vibe, high vibe, like the bee's wings. This Knight of Swords is rushing in, wanting to defend their beliefs about why they were casting illusions over these feminines. They're in fear and anxiety because there's a swift change here. Something is happening very quickly, and they don't have any doubt about it. They're frightened. This magic is coming back. They know what they did. All these curses, all this death. We got death here too. Hopes and fears. Death. They cursed. Oh my gosh, we've got death in the environment. We've got death in the hopes and fears. We've got death sandwiching this central energy. It's weird. I woke up this morning and I really oscillated through some emotional things. Like these guys. She keeps waking up. She keeps coming back. And I'm like, right? And then I pray. And I'm so grateful for God in my life, you know, and all of the good things that are happening. So I did that. And then I had doubts about my disconnect from the other realm, you know, that like we are in the dream. Like we're walking in two worlds, and it's like, I don't want to be here. I want to be there. And so then I got a little bit of an attitude. So it's like so strange, you know, the way that the mind is working right now. And it's all witnessed, which is wonderful, you know, and I'm not being judged harshly. It's like God is like, you know, you're built just as you are. You got your 7 directions, the upper, under, north, south, east, west, and center. And you've got the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, all in you. So of course, all of it is going to be exposed at some point because you're working to maintain your harmony, and you got to visit all these spaces and places and then kind of try to bring it into a 0 point of sorts. It takes effort, takes work. It's sometimes not pretty. There's a wedding here. Because of this reunion, because of this wedding between divine feminine, divine masculine, who are high vibing, gift laden, dedicated creators, builders, healers. Surprise, 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 a surprise in the water, a triumph over a surprise. Leviathan is in the waters. Some people have said that the Leviathan spirit is on the move. It could be that this King of Wands has overcome that surprise with these gifts of the soul, these abundant gifts of the soul that he carries within him. There could be his triumph might expose something that is surprising. Maybe it is a surprise. Maybe he's the underdog. He traveled an impossible path. They were certain he would never, ever, ever pull up out of it, this divine masculine. They were certain that they had destroyed them in all of these blood rituals, these curses, bound their spirit. They were certain they did. Because, you know, you're not supposed to murder anybody, but these ones staged wars and then said, go spill it. And they did. So but it's manipulation. So we've got the relationship with these manipulative energies is over. You're moving into love. You got an overflowing, a massive love cup, and you've got the Ace of Pentacles here. You can trust in this love. It's stable, it's harmonious, and it's connected to that inner voice. You're both connected to the upper frequencies, higher vibrational soprano frequencies. You have elevated so high. You became that supercharger of life. And now you get a new opportunity. away from these low vibrational feasters. So, Knight of Wands, Mr. Passion Project, looking to become a King of Pentacles. This is the way that it was. The youngers, they go have sex. Go have sex with as many feminines as you can to bind them. Bring in that energy and those gifts, and we'll give you a portion. And eventually you'll be a King of Pentacles. Well, that mission failed. They have lost, and now they want to apologize. There could be some kind of confessions happening. They're seeking forgiveness. There is no love in them. There's no love in them. Perhaps they won't receive any more love from you. The divine stated, never give it back. You will never give it back. And that means everything about you. God has reclaimed you. They had no love for their lover, who was a sweetheart. They were false, and they brought misfortune to their lives. And now they're in despair. Because their friend got wings. You got wings. Maybe they thought you were their friend. And it's so weird. A couple of months ago, a masculine said, "You'll always be my best friend." And I'm like, I don't even know who you are, man. They wiped the memories of the empath and then dressed up in their energy, using their gifts, pretending that it belonged to them. Calling you their best friend, but you had no idea who they were and why you were suffering. It's not all of your stories. I'm certainly helping you understand that. So we got a cloaked page out here spying on contracts in this new cycle. They don't know what to do about these preparations. There's things happening. They're getting ready. There's arrangements being made. Service. They could be getting ready to be a servant. There's arrangements being made for them to be a servant. I heard this curator and his friends talking about janitorial services and farm working. Like they have to start at whatever is perceived as the bottom. You got a victory here. You're in your chariot. You're moving forward. This is an end of this cycle. They're in grief and they're in regret for cursing families who care. For cursing parents and their children. They turned care into a curse. They drove people into domestic violence and divorce, and then they convicted them of divorce and an incapacity to maintain a household and a stable foundation for the child. They drove it into them. Using their own energy and their own gifts that they stole, they drove it into them. Wearing masks in the astral, pretending to be them to solidify the storyline, the illusion. Now they need consolation. They're praying. Whoever it is they're praying to, they're not praying to the God that walks with you. This light-filled, love-filled, happiness, high frequency. They're not that. They live in the energy of death and cursing. I don't know who they're praying to, but it's not God. It's some kind of a force, according to their word. So they're in regret with the Five of Cups energy here. It's a setback. They got to move on. There's judgment being called for them, wiping the memories of empaths, dressing up as them, and indulging in the lifestyle and the wealth that was meant to uplift the world, the realm. There's a death here to those indulgent people, perhaps. It could be that they're actually going to die. There's judgment here. Room. Room. Their minds are going to be wiped. Death to their minds. That's exactly what's going to happen. What it is, you know what that is? That's called a return. So they wiped the memories of empaths so they could indulge in a good time, dressing up in their mind and their energy. And so now there is a death to their mind, their room. They're going to forget who they are. They're going to have amnesia. Maybe they're going to get hit with that same nebulizer that they kept hitting you with over and over and over again. To destroy your mind, to destroy your ability to heal. There's a death to their indulgence of playing with people's minds. Take it as it resonates. Two of Swords energy here, they don't know what to do now. They're like, oh boy. Two of Pentacles energy, they got a lot of things they got to balance out. They're disappointed. They're getting left behind. The Illusionists are getting rejected. It could be that they walked away from their purpose for money, for gain. They did not do the work that was necessary in order to achieve the gain. They just took it from everybody else because they didn't want to work at it. They were lazy. You're in your purpose. This is the conclusion of that. Because you fortified your mind. You fortified your mind. And they did not see that coming. Faithfulness. You fortified your mind with faithfulness, blind faith. It's like, God, I don't know what is happening here, but I'm moving forward anyway, and I'm going to be happy. I'm going to enjoy the moment. Even though, like me, I was mentally RAPED for decades, at least in this life, and so I had a whole big party of negativity going on in my head. They were just streaming it through, telling me that I was a prostitute and a bitch and a whore and all this other stuff. It was horrid. All the nasty things they wanted to do to me, it went on and on and on. And I had to go out and be happy anyway. I'm like, yeah, all right, I know you hate me, you're vile, masculine. But I remained faithful to God, and I'm like, oh, God, I don't know what this is, I don't know why I'm here, but apparently I was collecting testimony. Irrefutable evidence as to the atrocious crimes that were going on here regarding humanity. Some of you are higher vibrational beings that are here on a mission specifically for that, and you had to walk the walk. And they thought that you were something special, so they put you upon an impossible life path. But you were joyful, you were innocent, you were faithful, regardless of the pain and the suffering that they kept piling on you and forcing you to serve at the same time, to transmute their shit energy, their orgy magic, to be seen as that, to wear that. These prideful people are sad. They're going into a prison, whether it be physical or otherwise, a mental prison, I don't know. Because they were constantly using their wisdom, their scholar, whatever stuff upon you. They mishandled their knowledge. And it wasn't their knowledge. They tapped into the high priestess mind. They tapped into the empress. They tapped into the connection, the source connection of the divine feminine. And then they twisted it and casted illusions in it. And they used the gifts of that to harm everything she loved. So there's a message here, some kind of a message that has been received that's going to bring happiness for lovers. Everybody's talking about this soldier, thief. They're sighing, they're sad because they know that you're waiting to get your wings. You're going to go be with friends. They now want to be friends. They're in despair because they were a false friend. They were a false friend. There was no love in them. Now the sweetheart has hope. This old woman servant of whatever forces this is, they're having a misfortune. Yeah, they're going on a journey. Making a journey. Transitioning somewhere. Because they were a pleasure seeker going after money. There's a priest here getting a letter about a wedding. They were making married people widows. Oh my goodness, and selling them to this merchant. Their merchandise, the Earth Angels merchandise. They were getting wedded to it and then selling it to the merchant after they became a widower. Wives with gifts. But now this wife, with these gifts, is being reunited in the house of the Lord. And you got an enemy out here insisting that it's a demon. They're sick about it. They're your enemy, and they're sick about it. They could be in the hospital. Young woman is a fortune, is going to get a fortune. These young women, these mothers will get a life of luxury. Not very nice what these ones have been doing. These are frauds. They're frauds. They're not even men, I don't think. They got to be some kind of a hybrid or some kind of an entity, a lower vibrational entity that has been they've been altering the frequency, I believe, of the whole planet with technology and blood sacrifice. Daily, we have slaughter happening here. Daily. All day long, we have animals panic, in fear, fighting, shedding blood. And some of these nasty masculines RAPE them while they're in this state. It is the most vile thing ever. And we're drowning in the energy of this. Every moment of every day, this is happening. This energy, this pain, fear, panic energy is being poured into the atmosphere. And not only that, it's driving humanity into a state of anxiety and panic attacks, and they don't even know why it's happening to them. So not only is that happening, but then you've got technology. You've got microwave technology that is causing auditory hallucinations. It's causing people to have extreme negative self-talk, very low sense of self-worth. It's terrible. Stripping the love out of people with their lust. Their lust to spill their fluids, their lust to putrefy and defile. Sacred space. They brought death to your sacred space. And this is the end of them being in your sacred space. Because you did not take a bribe. You remained in high vibing energy. You did not commit to any contracts. You did not give them a relationship. So they brought death to the sacred space, and now this is the end of them being here. They can no longer curse with magic the star beings, those who carry the essence of the sun, those rejuvenators, those healers, those people who are super charging conductors of light. Everywhere you go, beauty follows. You don't even have to say anything. Just walk on by. And they see you. You don't have to say a word. They see you. They feel you. Your happiness and the love, it comes off of you. Oh, I already got one. So, and then I got these. So they're in scarcity now. This is a completion of that cycle. You are successful in collaborating and bringing unity. They call you the unifier. They're all up in their thoughts because they are in upheaval. They can't stop thinking about this upheaval that they find themselves in. They have been exposed and they are being displaced. They're being removed from the sacred space. They're mad. God don't care. Queen of Wands is here, very determined to live her life. She's very determined to rise and to be seen, to be heard with love. It's like, hello! These ones had shut the divine feminine down so hard, they put blockages on her heart, they damaged her third eye, they wrapped her crown in magic so that she could not communicate. They abused her in every way, put her on an impossible life path, and it looks like this King of Wands was on the same path, and he is victorious. And they are frightened. They're like, wait a minute. They're trying to think fast. They're afraid because something bad is happening, and it's happening very quickly. They have no doubt about it. They're frightened. This magic is coming back. All of it. All of it. They worked so hard to put it out there with such intensity, and it's all coming back on them. That intention. Their intentions shall be their gift, said the Most High. Distance. They're not where you are. They're at a distance. They will be put at a distance. They got to go deal with this magic afar. They've put magic on you from a distance, and now it's all coming back on them. You don't even know who these people are, most likely. They've been violating the sacred space of the dream space, the astral realm, and they've been just crapping all over everybody's sense of identity, hurting people, wearing masks, and stolen energy. Yeah. So this King of Wands has overcome negative influences. And people are surprised, or maybe he's exposing a surprise. The surprise, I suppose, is that these negative influences. So he has triumphed here over all of this because he's an abundant, limitless being who has special gifts of the soul, and he's got extreme, measured, and intentional drive. So he has triumphed, and he is revealing the surprise. He's pulling up out of the waters that which had been hidden, this negative influence. And he's letting the world know what these ones have been doing, what they did to him, and what they've been doing. So he walked the impossible walk. And now he's in the Six of Swords energy, and he's not alone. He's got his divine feminine. This is a love that you can trust. It's stable. You're very much okay with it. It's harmonious. Connected to the divine. Communication. So I accept that my inner voice always guides me correctly, and it does. Communication. So you're telepathically communicated. You could be soul connected to this source, which has energized your life. Upper dimensional source. God, Goddess, Mother, Father. Knight of Wands passion project that he had thought was going to make him a King of Pentacles. It could be that the Knight and the King here of all these, whatever, they have failed. So they thought that they were going to F their way into riches and luxury, and they have failed. They're experiencing loss. They want to apologize, but there's no love in them. That's insincere. Caching. They want to apologize for pulling up your seeds, for eating your seeds. They had no love for you. They're fishing, man. They want you to stick around so they can continue doing what they do, because they're unable to rise with you. They can't. They're unable. They left God behind, trying to cast the illusion that they hadn't, but they did. They dedicated themselves to some other forces that they thought were more powerful. Driving them with lust. We have a cloaked page out here spying on these contracts of this new cycle. They don't know what to do. They're getting ready for service. There's some kind of service. Commitment. They were committed to the service of empty nesting. They didn't have to take care of the children. They didn't have to have any love for their woman or their husband. They were committed to the service of empty nesting. They wanted to destroy humanity and their ability to procreate. Life-bearing beings who were happy and filled with love. That's what they're going to get. You've got a victory over this. This is death here, the end of a cycle. They're in grief and regret for cursing you and your care for family. Now they're praying. They're praying to whoever it is they've committed loyalty to. It isn't the God that walks with you. And they're praying. Making preparations. This is the crow dropping the clam onto the road so that it can get smashed by a car driving over the top of it so that they could eat the flesh. The divine stated that these ones are the new fodder. They've been feeding children and women and men to this black hole soul for a long time as a food source. And now they are the new fodder. They're like, wait. They're getting left behind. They're in sorrow. They've lost. There's a judgment here for them erasing the memories, stealing the memories, dressing up in the memories of empathic people. They don't have empathy for anybody, but they were running around wearing the memories as though they were, while they were snorting coke on the witness stand, or having orgies, harvesting energy out of innocence and purity, virgins or whatever, and then going out and having orgies and coming back and laying it on that person, and then convicting them of being a prostitute in the spiritual courts or whatever. They had it twisted so bad, and then they were like, you can have 10 virgins or whatever, and it's because they did this to them and then convicted them and then trapped them. There's death to their indulging in the mental body. Now it's over. They can no longer do this. Their connections to the minds, the hearts, the happiness, the light, the life of these people that they've been abusing is over. They're at risk. They took a risk. They were trespassing in the mental body of humanity, causing risk, using their gifts, using their personality, their character, their spirit self. They'd get up and Agent Smith, their spirit self, as their physical self, slept. And then they would do things to cause them risk. So they're in a Two of Swords. They don't know what to do. It's like, oh no, what do I do? They got this Two of Pentacles, balance. They were supposed to make the difficult decisions. They were supposed to bring balance to this families, to this realm. They abandoned their purpose. They withdrew from it and went into some kind of an illusion, some kind of a fantasy. And that was what they served, and that was what they generated, using the gifts and the mind and the energy of purity. This is the conclusion of that. You have gained the fruits of your labor. You have worked very, very hard to fortify your mind. You are faithful, you are innocent, and you're coming into a state of joy. You are joy. You are joy. In the most vile circumstances, you still found a reason to be happy about something. Mimicry. They were mimicking you. They were pretending to be innocent while they layered you in their orgy magic and their drug addictions and all of that energy. They kept transferring it onto you with their magic. Battling you for your gifts and your abundance. You didn't even know you were in a fight. You just thought life sucked and you didn't know why. Many of you. Now you have a community that is working with you, and it's all rolling off of you now. They can no longer curse you. They can no longer hurt you. They're no longer a threat to you. No matter what they say. You have insight into their illusions, and you have risen above them. They're trapped in their own illusions. You have risen above them. You see clearly. And you know how you did that? By becoming part of the illusion. See that little golden nugget there in that jar? That's why I say you may be a higher vibrational being here on a mission. You became part of the illusion. You got put in that little jar there. And you watched. You watched. And you soared. You rose above it. And all that information. First-hand testimony. These ones were distracting the anomalies with fear. pain, fear, struggle. And now maybe they are fear and distracted by the anomaly. Take it as it resonates. They were warned not to bring mischief to your growth, not to hinder you. You were the forbidden fruit. You were the forbidden fruit. They were warned not to cause mischief to your growth, and instead they drove people down a path of incoherence while cursing their families and harvesting their wealth. It could be that nature is biting back. It could be that they're in grief. This is their nature. Their nature is to bring grief through dominating others. Maybe they're in grief because they're being dominated. These are scavengers who feasted on others, trapped them, ate them. But you survived here. You survived. They weren't expecting your survival. They weren't expecting your survival. And now you're in anticipation. You got some territory coming, and you're going to be able to play. You're going to be able to play. And those who are bringing trigger to you are getting wrath. They're receiving wrath. You may not see it in the 3D, like there may not be bombs going off and such. There might be at some point. Somebody's going to try to create an illusion or some confusion. They're going to try to draw attention to those who still aren't aware of this kind of stuff. But they are actually experiencing wrath because you resisted, and you're lucky. So you got freedom from the night. You got freedom from the night creatures, and you have a heart bond. You may look like you're alone, but you're very much connected to love and to this person. King of Wands is here with one of these queens, or maybe this queen is both. I don't know, but they're together there in that boat, and they keep waking up in this place. They keep coming back. Well, that's because the work isn't done. And I heard Spirit Divine say that now, like you're a multi-dimensional being, like you're located. These ones broke you. They fragmented you. They fractured your spirit, your soul, your mind so frequently. And you kept putting yourself back together in all of these spaces, these dimensionalities. And so now you're like this multifaceted being. These ones don't understand. I don't either, to be honest with you. But something happened. It was impossible. It was not supposed to happen. But it's like you got fractured, kind of split, and then you kind of had to pull everything back together, like those cups, those Japanese cups that get put back together with gold. And it's like you kept having to do that in order to maintain your balance. But here you are. And it's like you're releasing the memory, or you're releasing these ones from your memory. Maybe they have been released from your memory. They erased your memory. They erased the memory of the empath, the empathic person. And so it could be that you weren't operating from memory or knowledge that you were supposed to have, because they were dressing up in it as though it was them. But your soul connected to the divine source, and you were led into doing whatever it was that helped you survive this impossible life path. And now you're like this myth, this mythology. You're like the new myth, the impossibility, unfathomable, bilocated, or unlimitedly. I don't know, take it as it resonates. So there could be some curiosity. You're going in a new direction. And you're being carefully observed. Everything is observed here. You are protected. You're protected. You're protected from those ghosts with an upside down perspective who routinely travel across the half-court line. They're breaking the half-court rule over and over and over again. They're claiming that they are beings of God, and yet they're going to this other place, dedicating themselves to other forces that are not God. So it's like, yeah, you're free of that. You're protected from that. Everything they do is seen. You are being watched very closely. And I don't believe there will be any kind of distractions or anything that will pull away your protection. I've heard these these foes say that they cannot separate you from your protection. They've been trying. And they've been threatening to do a 3D thing. But I've also had visions of people getting into car accidents. So it's like those who try to approach are not able to make it. It's like there's this invisible barrier or something. It's like if they dare to approach you with any evil intent whatsoever, they're like taken out. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I hope that this brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.